Dr. Susan was conducting an experiment on a predatory shark. She attached a special device to the shark's brain, but she had no idea that the shark would wake up the moment it sensed even the slightest hint of danger. Fortunately, the shark fell unconscious again. Seizing the opportunity, Susan fitted the device on its head and with the help of an imaging system, inserted a nearly 10-meter-long needle into its brain. Despite being unconscious, the shark was feeling intense pain. But finally Susan managed to extract 4.5 moles of protein from its brain. That protein was then mixed with the damaged brain cells of an Alzheimer's patient. Now everyone had their eyes fixed on the screen, waiting for the result. Because if this experiment succeeded, millions of patients could get a new life and the team could earn a hefty profit. The moment a reaction occurred between the protein and the brain cells, the damaged cells began coming back to life. This result proved that their experiment had been a success. In the excitement of success, one scientist immediately lit a cigarette. But the moment he went near the shark without a care in the world, the smell of the cigarette caused the shark to suddenly wake up and attack him in a single instant. Right before everyone's eyes, his arm was separated from his body in a matter of moments and panic spread among the people. The shark had gone completely out of control. To stop it, Carter immediately broke a glass and pulled out the harpoon gun. Meanwhile, Susan, not wanting to lose this hard-earned research result, switched on the system without delay and released the shark back into the deep water. But no one had any idea what a massive mistake they had just made. Carter immediately contacted the tower and called the nearest medical team because all of this had happened inside a research center built deep in the ocean. A fierce storm was raging outside and everyone witnessed the true wrath of nature for the very first time. Meanwhile, the injured scientist's condition kept deteriorating due to heavy bleeding. Because of the bad weather, the helicopter could not land, so he was transported to the medical team via a steel cable. After this, everyone immediately began moving toward the base because they feared that the massive ocean waves could prove fatal at any moment. The good thing was that everyone else reached the base safely, but the scientist lying on the stretcher was still in critical condition. Just then, due to the bad weather, the machine pulling him up suddenly failed and without any support, he fell straight into the shark-infested ocean along with the cable. Upon returning to the base, everyone saw that the shark had clamped the cable in its jaws and was using it to swing the helicopter around at its will. Within seconds the helicopter collided with the tower and was destroyed in a massive explosion. The blast was so powerful that fire spread to several sections of the base. Along with this, their entire surveillance and communication system also went down. While everyone's attention was on the control panel, Russell noticed something rapidly approaching them from nearby. The very next moment he realized that the same shark was coming straight toward the glass wall with their injured colleague clamped in its mouth. Upon getting close, it slammed the man with full force against the glass and within the next second cracks appeared in the glass. Seeing their dying colleague and the shattering glass, the fear inside everyone deepened. They were just about to move away when suddenly another accident occurred. The ocean water came crashing through the glass and flooded into the lab. As the cold water kept filling up inside, everyone's panic kept growing. To save their lives, everyone immediately rushed inside the secret gate. The water pressure was so intense that closing the gate became nearly impossible, but putting in all their strength they somehow managed to lock it. For now, everyone was safe. But now the real problem was how to get out of this deep-sea research base after such a massive explosion and the lab flooding. The only stairway leading up had also disappeared into the water and nobody even knew whether some massive shark was waiting for them on the other side of that door. Left with no choice, everyone ran toward the maintenance tunnel while floodwater kept chasing them from behind. Finally, at the right moment they opened the main gate, which at least cleared one path. But the chef on the upper floor was not having any luck. A dangerous small shark was silently approaching from behind him. Seeing this, his face went pale with fear. He ran for his life without looking back and finally made it inside the kitchen. For the moment he was safe, but he took no chances at all. He picked up a nearby pen and only when he saw that the shark had turned in the other direction did he finally breathe a sigh of relief. But he could not stay there long, so he began climbing up the shelf. He had no idea that the shark had now come very close. Just as he was about to reach the top, his pet parrot suddenly appeared in front of him. He panicked, his hand slit and he fell back down again. Even so, he did not give up. He wanted to climb up with his parrot. He had just reached out his hand to call the parrot when the situation got even worse. The shark rammed the shelf hard and the chef fell straight into the water. In that life-threatening moment he spotted an oven nearby. He swam toward it rapidly to save his life and got inside just before the shark could reach him. But the danger was not over yet. The shark's impact accidentally turned the oven on and the flammable gas inside spread all around. To escape, he began striking upward with an axe. The moment an opening was made, he immediately climbed on top of the oven and jumped straight onto the shark's back. The moment it sensed him, the shark also turned around toward him. Just then the chef pulled out a lighter and threw it toward the oven. The very next moment a powerful explosion occurred and the shark was finished right there. While that explosion had taken care of one shark, a big question arose in everyone's minds. How did an ordinary sea creature develop such intelligence to attack humans, and why did it use its prey as a weapon to break a glass? Just then Dr. Susan revealed the truth that in order to extract the protein, they had injected an illegal chemical into the shark's brain, which caused its brain to grow abnormally large and its intelligence to multiply several times over. But as a side effect, the sharks had become far smarter smarter and more powerful than before. Everyone was helpless and in shock, yet finding a way out was necessary. They made a plan to escape via submarine but found out that the small shark had already destroyed it. Now only two options remained. Either swim to the platform on the first floor and from there try to go up using the lift. But the slightest mistake along the way and survival would be impossible. The threat of death was clearly visible in both routes, and this fear increased the tension within the team. Just then Russell suggested diving out as a way to escape, but perhaps the shark did not approve of this. It suddenly leaped out of the water, clamped Russell in its jaws in a single motion and dragged him into the depths. Everyone was left speechless seeing this. It seemed as though the shark had already eliminated their option of diving out. Left with no choice, everyone opened the gate ahead which might possibly take them upward, but within seconds due to air pressure, seawater began filling the lift shaft. Two members risked their lives and somehow managed to close the door. But a new problem was waiting for them. A fire had broken out from the explosion in the upper lift area and stored materials were also exploding. Meanwhile, the shark kept ramming the door relentlessly. Seeing the situation worsening, Carter decided that his teammates should move ahead while he himself would take a risk of opening the hatch on the -1 floor so that the water level could be controlled. His decision proved to be correct. He opened the hatch and also managed to escape the shark's attack at the right moment. But then the situation turned again. Due to a loose screw, a section of the stairway broke off and fell below. The good thing was that the stairway got stuck on the other side, but one team member lost his balance and fell straight into the water. Carter immediately steadied himself and tried to save him, but he was 1 second too late. Right before everyone's eyes, the shark snatched that woman away. Carter put in all his strength, but the shark took her into the depths in a single motion. Finally she disappeared into the cold ocean water. In that moment everyone was once again plunged into deep shock. The worst part was that they were still very far from the top floor. From above, the sounds of powerful impacts on the doors kept coming. It seemed as though the shark had already made it upstairs. Fear was clearly visible on everyone's faces. Just then the chef arrived there. He immediately threw a rope made of clothes and pulled them up before they could drown. Now everyone began moving forward rapidly. Ahead there was a pump system which could be activated with a generator to pump the water out. The team immediately ran toward the control room and somehow managed to start the generator. But just as they were about to get out, the situation deteriorated again. The shark suddenly attacked from behind. It mercilessly tore apart Carter's friend. Seeing this, Carter immediately swam toward the main gate. But before the shark could make him its next victim, the gate opened and at that very same moment the chef also arrived there. When everyone's life was on the line, Susan made another big mistake. She felt that the team's hard work and sacrifices should not go to waste, so she went alone to her room to retrieve the research data. She opened the locker with a key and after a brief search pulled out the necessary sample. During this time, she did not even notice a shark cutting through the water from behind. The good thing was that it turned out to be just a research model. But the very next moment something else surfaced on the water, and this time it was not a fake research model but the real shark. It attacked Susan the moment it arrived. There was no way left to escape. Out of compulsion she first climbed onto the shelf and tried to steady herself. In the rush, her precious research files fell into the water. She paused for 2 seconds and bent down again to pick them up. Just then the shark began moving toward her again. Now death was hovering right over her head. Just then her eyes fell on the burning bulb above and a dangerous idea came to her mind. She thought that high voltage current could kill the shark. She immediately pulled out a wire and began waiting for the next attack. The moment the shark lunged at her, she shoved the live wire straight into its mouth. Amid powerful electric shocks, that second shark also writhed and died. Looking at the research data that had drowned, she felt deep regret. She understood that releasing the shark at the beginning had been her biggest mistake, but there was no time to think about that now. After this, the three of them came face to face again. But the shark's attack had ruined Carter and Susan's plan of getting out directly. Now there was only one way left to survive, and that was the emergency exit. But the moment the door was opened, water would rush in rapidly, so they kept a fire extinguisher ready to balance the pressure. Then they deliberately let the room fill with water. When the water reached above their heads, they opened the hatch. The moment they got outside, all three switched on the fire extinguishers. Hidden behind the bubbles, the shark got confused and their trick worked. All three finally reached the surface, but just then another attack came. The shark suddenly grabbed the chef and dragged him several meters away. Even so, the chef did not give up. He pulled out the cross hanging around his neck and began striking the shark's eyes with full force. Finally he escaped from the jaws of death once again. Seeing this, both Carter and Susan were left astonished. Carter jumped back into the water and the chef somehow climbed up onto the debris. Susan bandaged his wound, which for the time being eliminated the risk of excessive bleeding. Looking at the debris scattered all around, a big truth dawned on them. Earlier the strong walls built below could have kept the shark trapped inside, but now the entire structure was slowly sinking and only a thin iron grill remained above. This meant it was clear that the shark did not just want to kill humans but wanted to break out of this man-made cage and escape into the open ocean. She had to be finished. For the first time you said something sensible. Both immediately took action. They removed the gunpowder from all the signal flares and packed it into a harpoon. The plan was clear. The moment the harpoon hit the right target, they would connect its wire to a battery and blast blast the shark away with a powerful electric current, but at that very moment the shark's entire focus was on breaking down the door. It gave Carter no opportunity to aim properly. When the shark did not come up, Susan cut her own palm with a sharp piece of broken machinery and jumped straight into the water. In reality, she was using herself as bait. She had been the first one to break the rules. She had enlarged the shark's brain with the chemical, and she had been the one to set it free. She felt that since the mistake was hers, she would have to be the one to end it all. The moment the shark caught the scent of blood, it abandoned breaking the door and turned around, lunging straight toward her. But the cunning shark was avoiding coming to the surface. Carter realized that Susan's plan was not working. Without thinking, he jumped into the water to save her, and then what happened next was something nobody had the courage to witness. The very next moment the shark tore Susan apart mercilessly, piece by piece. Carter could only watch helplessly as it all unfolded. After the scent of blood, the shark now targeted Carter and began moving toward him. When it attacked, Carter did not panic. With his swift swimming, he escaped the attack, and seizing his chance, he grabbed the shark's fin and pushed himself away from it. At that very same moment the chef took charge again. He picked up the harpoon gun and stood ready with full preparation. He targeted the harpoon at the shark's fin, and the moment he got the right opportunity, he fired the harpoon straight into the shark's fin without hesitation. But at that very same moment he made a mistake. The harpoon tore through the fin and came out through Carter's leg on the other side. The wire was pulling rapidly. If Carter did not separate himself from the shark in time, the moment the chef connected the wire to the battery, a massive explosion would occur and he would be finished along with the shark. But escape did not seem easy. The shark was just about to break through the grill and get out of the base when Carter grabbed the net at just the right moment and separated himself from the shark's fin. At that very same instant the chef connected the wire to the battery, and the very next second a powerful explosion occurred. The blast was so devastating that the shark was finished right there. The moment the chef saw Carter alive, a smile returned to his darkened face. In this way, after sacrificing many of their colleagues, they finally put an end to the shark's reign of terror. And right here this incredible movie came to an end. By the way, let me know how you found this explanation. If you liked it, give the video a like and subscribe to the channel. And if you want an explanation of the second part of this movie as well, drop a comment.